What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. Welcome back to the DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing I'll briefly address, a lot of people have been asking me to recover the YouTube monetization story because there have been a lot of updates. I reported on Monday, YouTube had put into place their broader ad policies. A ton of people all of a sudden had a lot of videos that had their ads removed. They were demonetized. Many people not receiving any email whatsoever. No notification, although there was a minority saying that they are getting them now. The story slowly got bigger and bigger as people actually realized, oh crap, my videos are being demonetized too. Massive creators like Jenna Marbles, H3 Production saying not only were their videos being demonetized, ads pulled off of videos that had millions of views already, they weren't able to appeal. That is, question the choice of YouTube's automatic system. YouTube then responded, thanks for the reports, we've identified a bug that is preventing the appeal of some demonetized videos. We're working on a fix ASAP. And so then I wanted to double check if I had any more videos demonetized. There are so many. I went through and I have 3 pages of demonetized videos or videos I have to submit appeals on it's often where I'm just talking about hate groups and with the disgusting things they had to do and the outcry against them. And there was more news that there were more advertisers that pulled advertising off of YouTube. Obviously, this is frustrating for me, but who I really get worried about are the up-and-comers. The new voices that are up-and-coming, they're getting those 100,000, 200,000 views here and there. It's those people who are often working check to check and can be completely derailed by a deviation like this. But do understand, it is going to get worse before the hemorrhaging stops. You have advertisers freaking out, YouTube freaking out, and now creators freaking out. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm scheduling a call later today, so hopefully we get more information. And I want to talk about an update to one of yesterday's big stories, and that is the DeGabbieShow Ricegum situation. There's a lot of confusion, misinformation, and seemingly more and more lies being thrown around. And so I want to address this. If you want a deep dive of the accusations that were made, go watch yesterday's video. If you haven't, I'll try to oversimplify to bring you up to speed. Gabby and Rice are massive creators on the site. Rice made a video bashing and making fun of Gabby. It got over 7 million views. Made fun of everything from her content, her personality, her appearance. So then the other night, Gabby realizes they're at the same party. She's Snapchatting the whole thing. She says, I'm gonna go up to him. She Snapchats herself, challenging him, but really just giving him crap. He says he asked her not to post those. She posted those. And the next thing we know, we have Gabby posting a Snapchat where she says,
Ricegum didn't think that joke was very funny, and he hit me in the middle of a party and shattered my phone.
And the word hit here is a key point because that is one of the main points being debated. Now, on the same string of Snapchats, Gabby goes on to clarify, when I say hit, I'm not saying that he beat the shit out of me, that he punched me in the face. He grabbed me, twisted my arm, my phone away, he took it, he smashed it, destroying my property. A thing that even as of posting the video we knew was true because Ricegum then sent her money to pay for the phone. I reached out to both of them, Gabby responded, Ricegum did not, and has still not. Although he did publicly on his Twitter deny hitting her. And then separate from that, he did several interviews and the information seems to conflict with reality. And so I want to jump into that. When Ricegum was being interviewed, his main point was to focus on the word hit because that's the first word Gabby used, so he keeps repeating it over and over again, and he's trying to defend this argument that she clarifies on later. It keeps sounding like he's trying to build up on it.
She said I hit her as if I put her she said I hit her like I fucking
Yeah, but all that appears to be is Ricegum making a straw man. Gabby once again in her Snapchat says,
assaulting me, I guess is the word. He didn't beat the shit out of me, if that's the impression that you guys are getting. He grabbed me, twisted my arm, I think I said that, and held me down, and I have those scratches up here and on my wrist and arm, and I had a big scratch on my leg.
So he's arguing against a thing that's not really the main point. He says, oh, she's trying to say I made those bruises on her legs. No. In Gabby's video where she was trying to show injury, she was showing scratch marks. Even before these videos went out, Gabby clarified to me, I'm not talking about those bruises, those scars. I'm talking about the scratches. So once again, straw man. And then when Ricegum was asked, well, what about those scratches? He says that it's not possible.
Bro, I don't even have nails.
I don't even have nails to do that. But then he took to Twitter and posted a video of him scratching himself with his hands, not only showing that he could have in fact inflicted those scratches through some sort of tussle, but alleging that Gabby self-harmed to frame him. And he would later go on to delete that video, but other people kept it up, including Gabby herself. But then we get an eyewitness account from someone that says they were at the party, another creator by the name of Romeo Lacoste or Lacoste. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your last name. Just to prevent further mispronunciation of your name, I'm just gonna call you Tattoo Neck. Not a bash, nice aim. He says Ricegum didn't really hit her, it was more.
She's sitting on the couch, he's standing up, and it was more of a tug of war, them pulling the phone back and forth, maybe for a few seconds, and then he snatched the phone out of her hand and slammed down the ground and broke the phone and then walked out. Was he being aggressive? Yes, definitely. Definitely more aggressive than he should have been for the situation. Did I see him hit her? Definitely not.
So that gives us a little more background, but once again, everyone keeps focusing on the word hit, as in punch. Gabby clarifies in her string of Snapchats that he grabbed her, got on top of her, which sounds like he was standing up, she was on the couch. There was a tussle for the phone, which means he put hands on her, and then he destroyed her property. And in the videos of his interviews, he's minimizing that situation. It starts that I had to use 2 hands to just a quick, I snatched it. Like I didn't even have to touch her, it was a pickpocket situation. But then I, yes, 100% destroyed her property. Then with all of this going down, Gabby shares a text that says, Rice just texted me and said, tell her to publicly apologize or shit's gonna get worse, just saying. Which I was like, well, that's just an allegation, but then Ricegum responded saying, shit is gonna get worse because of you. You can't just tell the world I hit you when I didn't. People think I hit girls now. So to Ricegum, I would say, that does suck if the people think that you hit women. I would like to clarify to the viewing audience right now, Ricegum does not hit women. There is a possibility that Ricegum aggressively puts hands on women and or their property and then destroys the property. There, we fixed it. Which, by the way, the destruction of property is one of the most overlooked parts of this story. That is a crime. Google criminal mischief. You destroyed a phone that, let's say, is between $700, $1,000. That is above $400. So if Gabby filed charges, he could actually be found guilty, and that is punishable by up to a $10,000 fine and up to 1 year in county jail. I mean, over a certain dollar amount, I mean, you're talking about a felony. Now, it is incredibly unlikely you would get the most extreme sentence your first time, but with his own admission in his interview where he says that he did do this.
And again, I can't just sit there and look like a bitch. I grab her phone, smash her phone, and run away.
You know how a man does when someone's saying words at him, so he takes that person's phone, destroys it, and then runs away. So admission here, and then if you look to his Twitter, he wrote a long post where he says, just don't record me when I say don't record me. I was at the mall with my side girl and this kid had a phone out and was recording me and screaming, Jesse and Andy roasted you, hold this L, and all this other shit, so I was like, I don't want this on the internet. So I just took his phone and smashed it. If you look at that, any lawyer worth a damn would go, obviously we see a tendency here. We see that he is a serial destroyer of property, and that's why we think he should be punished more. And ultimately, my takeaway is the more that Ricegum talks about this in a video that he does not have the control of the edit, the more it appears that he was the one that was very much so in the wrong, whereas Gabby's one mess up is she used the word hit in reference to a guy aggressively manhandling and stripping her property from her hands. How dare she? And I say this as someone who honestly, and I mean this with as little offense as intended, who kind of just doesn't give a damn about either of these people. I've talked to both, they've both been nice to me. Maybe that's why it's easy for me not to be biased here, is I have nothing to gain from either of these people. No matter what my final opinion was, there was going to be one fandom that massively hated on me for this video, because in general, people that are part of fandom take feelings over fact. That's where I'm going to leave that. Of course, I'd love to know your opinion here. But from there, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome brought to you by squarespace.com/Phil. Squarespace, of course, is a fantastic all-in-one platform where you can make a beautiful website, no installs, no patches, no upgrades ever. They also have that award-winning 24/7 customer service. So if you want to start your free trial like many from the nation already have, go to squarespace.com/Phil. And if you really like it, use coupon code Phil for 10% off your first purchase. And the first bit of awesome is your boy Ethan, aka H3H3 Productions, doing an episode of Hot Ones. If you're a fan of either of those things, you're gonna love it. It's foopatastic. Then we got a trailer for season 4 of Silicon Valley. We also got a trailer for Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, which I will note I'm including in this because I'm hopeful that it's gonna be good. But I also get a little bit iffy when I see a movie advertised as much as this movie. It bought a Twitter trend yesterday. The trailer is at over 4.4 million, but only has 8,000 likes on it, which means it's either being shared on a lot of other sites and people are watching it, but they're not passionate enough to then go to the site and leave a comment, or a bunch of these are paid pre-roll ad views. But it does look beautiful 90% of the time, and I'm a big fan of Dane ever since I saw him in Chronicle. So I'm hopeful and I'm gonna give it a chance. And then, some of you might want to put some plastic down before I say this. We got a Game of Thrones 90-second teaser trailer. Rejoice until you remember that we're only gonna really get 6 episodes. They're doing that thing where they split the final season into 2 seasons. But still, a phrase that may resonate to you in multiple ways. 6 is enough if you use it correctly. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. Then, just want to share one of my favorite headlines from today. North Korea accuses John McCain of blasphemy for calling Kim Jong-un that crazy fat kid. This because McCain called the ultimate leader a crazy fat kid. Also, random side fact I just learned, China had to ban search results for people who were searching the phrase Kim Fatty the Third. But wait, before we move on, the best thing about this story is that when John McCain found out that North Korea was angry, he responded by tweeting, "What? Did they want me to call him a crazy skinny kid?" Ah! It's just so beautiful. Hey, I'm not saying that I'm on board with fat shaming. unless it is about Kim Jong-un, because in that case, I have to say, fuck you, King Sausage Fingers. Then let's talk about Tomi Lahren, of course, the controversial conservative host on The Blaze. Last time we talked about her, she had been suspended from her show because she went on The View and said this.
I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. I can sit here and say that as a Republican, and I can say, you know what, I'm for limited government, so stay out of my guns, and you can stay out of my body as well.
And that seemed to outrage her employer, many conservative fans, many people calling her a hypocrite herself. Then there were reports coming out that she was completely fired from her show. And now the news is coming out that there are allegations that she and her team don't even have access to her massively popular Facebook page. She has 4.2 million Facebook fans, but reportedly she does not own it. The Blaze owns it. And there are sources saying Tomi and her team have been cut off from access, which many people are debating if that hurts her market value. She has 6 months left on her contract with The Blaze. There's no doubt in my mind either Tomi Lahren starts up her own venture or she ends somewhere mainstream. And of course there are people angry and celebrating this news as well. She's a very polarizing person. But really quick, I want to lay down some truth for the corporations and also the creators out there. This is not bad news for Tomi Lahren. Tomi Lahren not having access to her page is just more promotion for her. What's The Blaze gonna do with that channel? Are they going to rebrand it and all of Tomi Lahren's fans are just gonna be completely fine with it? The best thing they could do in that situation is try to pawn it off to someone else that's stupid enough to buy it, or just not do anything with it and avoid the horrible PR they would receive. And when Tomi does eventually launch her own thing, she may not instantly jump to 4.2 million because, as we all know, the main numbers, those are accrued over time and they're not representative of the current audience. Example, I have 5+ million subscribers on YouTube, but my videos get 1 million views. My channel's existed for 10 years. A majority of those are probably not active. But those ones that are active, once Tomi launches her new thing, they're gonna come in a horde. Social media is gonna blow up about it. She'll probably gain new viewers she would not have gained otherwise. And that is because audiences are loyal to people, not brands. Whether it be with the Tomi Lahrens of the world or the Grace Helbigs of the world. That's YouTube's best reminder that channels kind of don't matter, people matter. So whether you like Tomi, you hate Tomi, that this is just the truth of the situation. Then a quickie story I saw blowing up is that George Bush has finally released a comment on Donald Trump's inauguration. Now, big note is this is not an official George W. Bush comment, but reportedly, according to 3 people who were present, Bush gave a brief assessment of Trump's inaugural saying, quote,
"That was some weird shit."
Reportedly, all 3 people heard him say that, and a spokesman for Bush declined to comment. Side note, my buddy Kevin Burke was so excited that his years of mastering a George Bush impersonation was still viable.
Old George W. Bush is kind of looking like Albert Einstein, Galileo, and which one was the really smart Ninja Turtle? Oh yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. I'm like all 3 of those guys rolled into one.
But Donald Trump was also in the news for a more real reason. And that's because this morning it appears that he is ready to go with war with part of his own party. Tweeting, "The Freedom Caucus will hurt the entire Republican agenda if they don't get on the team and fast. We must fight them and Dems in 2018. Now, if you don't know what the Freedom Caucus is, it's around 30 Republicans that are in the House. They're seen as sympathetic to the Tea Party, right, to far right. More recently, they were one of the main opponents to the American Health Care Act. They, of course, weren't the only opposition, but many have blamed them or thanked them. So there was some cheering Donald Trump on of not being scared to bash people in his own party, others bashing Trump because he's talking about party over politics. But a thing I want to point out is I don't really know if there's much they can do to hurt the Freedom Caucus. Thanks very much to gerrymandering that happened back in 2010. I'm going to oversimplify this, but it's the changing of congressional districts to try and pull out a winner where there previously might have been a more competitive race. Both Democrats and Republicans have been guilty of gerrymandering, but the Republicans did an amazing job in 2010. Many attribute it to that specifically of why we've seen Congress swing so much to the red the past 7 years. So in certain places like North Carolina, where there would have been a more competitive race, thanks to the way the district is set up, people like Mark Meadows, who is a Republican in North Carolina, who is part of the Freedom Caucus, he's an example of someone that looks invulnerable. He won his last election 230,000 votes to 129,000 votes. And you look at the other members of the Freedom Caucus, and many fit this same description. They are safe Republicans. Mo Brooks of Alabama won 205,000 to 102,000. When he had to fight off a fellow Republican in 2014, he won with 80% of the vote. A lot of these guys can just do whatever they want and not toe party lines. So if Trump is going to villainize these members of his same party, he has a long fight ahead of him. And so for me personally, the most interesting place in politics right now isn't at the executive level, it is in the House. Can a president with his current approval ratings really threaten the Freedom Caucus, who are winning by landslides? And what do other House Republicans do? Do they stand by and back Donald Trump's words, or do they say, whoa, you're overstepping, we're all the part of the same party. And of course, you'll have the 2018 election that could shake everything up. As far as legislation being passed or shut down, the House is the most interesting place in politics right now. Because the Senate, as we saw today, isn't really gonna have that issue. The most it's gonna get to that is a 50-50 tie, and they have Pence there. That's also a little bit of an oversimplification. Not everyone just votes with the party, although more and more these days that is often the case. But that's where I'm gonna end that story, and also this video, not because there's not more I wanna talk about, but I have to get out of this room. This is my last day in this studio. It is shutting down. So right after I stop recording, Mover's gonna come in, dismantle everything. I'll be shooting the show from a different or several different locations for the next week to 2 weeks. So yeah, then new space and new, oh man, I can't wait. 2017 is gonna be a fascinating year. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I try and do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, which by the way, welcome to the thousands of you who have been subscribing, joining the family. Hope you're enjoying these daily videos, which by the way, if you missed yesterday's Philip DeFranco show, you wanna watch it, click or tap right there to watch that. If you missed yesterday's new vlog, you can click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.